is giving us that experience again. There has been many gameplays and a ton of info with the release date of June 12th, 2018 for Jurassic World Evolution. Get ready. Now, the next game is one of the more anticipated games for PlayStation 4. It's Spider-Man. Insomniac Games' PS4 version of Spider-Man looks super cool, and Spider-Man is one of my favorite superheroes. People want to bring up how good Spider-Man 2 was on the PlayStation 2, but if this Spider-Man has great web slinging, a lot of freedom, and a lot of mobility, I think it's going to be just as good. Now, we've seen a lot of gameplay from this game, and it looks really cinematic, but Insomniac Games are a good development team, and we definitely are going to see this at E3. Now, we've gotten the release date of September 7th, 2018. Now, there has been a lot of games that have gotten a release date within the past couple of weeks, and there's so many I want to talk about, but I just picked out 3 to come here on this channel and talk to you guys about. Make sure you guys go in the comments and just name off your 3 that you guys are so excited for. Also, with recording this video, we've hit 60 subscribers. I am just over the moon. I only did my 50 subscribers video like literally 3 weeks ago. You guys are just amazing. Please keep subbing. Tell your friends, tell your moms, tell your dad, tell your kids, tell everybody. I don't care. Tell your dog. He gonna subscribe too. And you guys are just amazing. Make sure you tune into our Thursday podcast. We're gonna try to go Thursday. Yeah, about
Link isn't
probably
really
12
the main character.
Pacific time.
It's
just a great podcast with the cast of people that I'm gonna have on there. So yeah, keep subscribing to the Seoul Dojo Gaming channel. I've been Curtis Russell. Thank you guys and peace. What's up? Curtis Russell with the Seoul Dojo Gaming. What is up, y'all? Curtis Russell with the Seoul Dojo Gaming channel here. Now, E3 is still about a month and a half out, but that does not stop any of these game developers from posting out these release dates for all these awesome games. Now, I picked 3 of my favorites, and I want to go more in depth
for the
with
recent
these
video.
games,
We got
and I hope you guys like this list. But first, let's roll the intro. You guys like my Sonic shirt?
Oh, okay. That should be done.
All right, cool.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Okay, restart. Welcome to the Seoul Dojo Live. I completely forgot to look at that, to look at the recent video going. Quick recap if you guys didn't hear it. I beat Legend of Zelda. A little underwhelmed at the ending, but it's all good. But yeah, we're gonna get into some serious stuff right now. Some super serious stuff. So Far Cry 5 has been out for about 3 weeks, and reviews have been coming out. Very positive reviews, except we stop at Polygon. Now, Polygon has been, has basically came out and bashed this game, gave it a 6.5. Charles Henderson, I appreciate you. Yeah, thank God. So, they came out and said that they gave it a 6.5, and the reason why they gave Far Cry 5 a 6.5 is because it didn't make a political statement at the end of the game, or didn't really point out our country's current state. So Far Cry 5 is about a religious cult that is trying to convert people to the Eden's Gate, the project at Eden's Gate, right? So this is kind of, Eden's Gate is kind of the equivalent to their own Christianity in the game, right? And yeah, so Polygon thinks that, okay, we feel like this is the perfect time that Far Cry 5 should get super political and pick a side. It should be a conservative game, it should be a liberal game, it should be a democratic game, it should be a Republican game. Me looking at it and watching some of the YouTubers, I think everybody's kind of on the same track when they say we shouldn't have necessarily our own politics in games, or involve our politics in games. You don't want just a conservative game. You know what I'm saying? Because then you're going to weed out the other people that want to play the game. Like, I'm not going to play that game because it's putting so much propaganda, and it's putting all this stuff in there that I don't believe in, and I just don't want to play that. So it's gonna look bad on Ubisoft. Now, another fact that's weird about this is that Ubisoft, the people that made Far Cry 5, are both of the teams are Canadian.
Yeah.
So they just went to Montana and just filmed all this beautiful stuff and was like, that's our world. We're going to put it in Montana. We're going to put this and put that.
Mm-hmm.
And it wouldn't look good on Ubisoft as a whole. Not only Far Cry 5 would get affected, you would have The Division, you would have Ghost Recon Wildlands, you would have all the Ubisoft games, The Crew, all the Ubisoft games that would definitely affect the whole company. You know what I'm saying? It would be more of a controversy. So yes, Far Cry 5 isn't a controversy because of its plot, but then if you made like a liberal or a conservative game on one side, it would be even worse, and you would literally diminish your sales in half. You know what I'm saying? And you would be in more trouble. So what do you think about this whole controversy thing, Jay?
So I guess I can preference this by saying politics is dangerous. Honestly, really everything is considered politics if you look at it now. Like literally I've heard that word thrown around so much that I'm like, I don't even know what politics is, and you know that I've never been one to be into politics, and especially when you're trying to mix, you know, not like I said, I haven't seen Far Cry 5 yet. I haven't been able to actually just look into it. I've been wanting to, because I've never really gotten into any of the Far Cry games. So let me ask this: is this Far Cry? Because I know all of them really are just weird storylines, and somehow they come together and then they become really good. So what is the whole basis of the Far Cry 5 so far, of just what you know you've gotten from? What is it? What is the whole plot behind the game? Is it a continuing of last one or what?
Yeah, real quick, I want to point out Charles's comment. He said it alienates people, and I think I really believe that also. Mm-hmm. But Far Cry 5 is basically a game. Oh, like if you ever played Far Cry, it's always kind of the same formula. Mm-hmm. So you're like either you're ripped of all your resources, or you're just like a guy that's trapped in a certain kind of area in the world, and there's like a crazy maniac that's kind of running all of it, right? The same thing goes in Far Cry 5. So you have this dude named Joseph Seed, who is called the Father, and he has this religious cult of people that basically follows him, and they baptize people that have this thing called the Blitz that basically makes you feel a certain way. And the basis of it is just that it's in middle America, it's in Montana, and it's religion driven by a, like they fear something is coming, you know what I'm saying? Like they fear like either the world. Yeah, exactly. It's a lot like Outlast, actually more like Outlast 2 if you look how crazy it is.
Outlast 2, that's the one they had the religious cult.
But you know what, Outlast 2 is crazier.
Yeah, it was definitely.
Outlast 2 was a lot more crazier than Far Cry 5.
Yeah.
But that's I think that everybody is kind of on the same wavelength when it comes to what Polygon. Why are you going to give this game a 6.5 for that reason?
I guess for me, for one, we have to understand with video games, first we need to understand the basis or the reason for video games. The reason for video games is not to, you know, promote politics or promote Christianity. Like I said, you know me, that I'm a faithful believer, that my whole life is surrounded around spreading the word. But I know that I understand, for one, that trying to throw this into a video game and force politics, for one, is just, conservative or liberal for that matter, just it doesn't make any sense, considering what Far Cry, from what I've just seen with Far Cry, like I said, it's not a game that's just based off of, now, like I said, correct me if I'm wrong, because like I said, I'm speaking out of ignorance of just really understanding the whole Far Cry series, but it's not that this game that's just based off of, you know, real life stuff. It's just kind of, it has, you know, its own driven story. It may have real life.
That's right.
May have real life landmarks and whatnot like that. You know, we know a lot of video games that do that, but it's not really focused on any actual real life based stuff that has actually happened or happening. It's just using those landmarks and kind of just having fun with it. You know what I mean? Like, to say that, we would literally have to go a whole nother route with GTA 5, because we know that GTA 5 or even Call of Duty or all these other games that are based off of these, you know, that are using these real life landmarks. You can actually go to the place and see the exact thing that they took from the game or took from life inside the game. And so, like I said, to, you know, give it a rating based off of politics not being it. If your goal is, oh man, well, you know what, we need to get politics into this game because we need to spread this message. Like, that's not what video games are for. That's not what it's for. You're not going to. Here, let me say this, and I'm going to touch on this very briefly because I want to keep this about gaming. But for me, so I'm someone, like I said, my day-to-day life, you know, even with my education, it's filled with spreading the word of God. That's what I do. That is what my day-to-day life is. But I know that, for one, I can't get you to believe anything. In fact, my goal is not to convince you. I can't force anything upon you, and that's never my approach. My approach is never to force, because guess what? Me forcing it upon you means you truly don't understand. You don't understand this whole basis of why they gave this game a low rating is, for one, okay, so you know what? They didn't force politics on the people. There needs to be more politics. You're going to get people to turn away from the game, and as Charles said, it's going to alienate people from this game, because guess what? When I go and play a game, I'm not worried about politics. I'm worried about just having a game, being immersed in this fantasy story. And like I said, the story in itself, I mean, with these religious cults, I stopped watching Outlast 2 because it just kind of took a turn for the worse. And like I said, I enjoyed the first couple Outlast, but it's just, that's not a good basis. And I mean, when you first said it, I was like, wait, what? So they were mad about politics? That's what you give this game a look, not graphics, not the storyline, just needs to be more politics involved. I think that's just kind of crazy. And it's a terrible reason to give a game that low of a rating, you know, that being your own basis.
It's ridiculous. For that reason, I think, and they talk about the story, I'm not gonna lie, I've loved every Far Cry story because of the how much impact the villain has. I think Far Cry is actually the first game that made me respect the villain in so many ways because of how good the actors that they've gotten.
Yeah, you're talking.
And Charles, man, I'm glad you in the chat, man, because I was talking about you earlier today before we started the chat. I mean, before we started the podcast, I was like, I need to get him on here, man. Like, I really need to get him on here. I know he's doing his stuff on Twitch. Go check out Hubchuck on Twitch. So, Jay, I'm very glad of everything you said, because I think what you're saying is absolutely right, and me and you looking eye to eye. So is Charles on this subject, this ridiculous subject. To me, Far Cry 5 so far has been in about an 8.8. Really. It's an amazing game. Check it out if you haven't. So let's move on a little bit, and let's talk about, I think Charles might be able to weigh in on this also. We're going to talk about Anthem and EA today. Now, yeah, we talk about EA a lot on our podcast because they are just so funny to point the finger at because they do everything wrong. So they're having people leave at high positions. They're having people, they're having like this big turnover rate in very, very high positions, like lead writer, lead director. And these people are leaving, and of course they're on Twitter saying these goodbye messages in a positive way. Like, well, I got other things I want to work on. I got other things I want to do. But what other sources are telling us is we're under pressure because of Anthem. And people are going to sit here and say, well, maybe it was going good for a while, and then, you know, they just kind of left because they wanted their own thing. No, it's not that. We know the pressure that EA is throwing on BioWare to make a great game. And we know that this team is just like, they're grabbing, you know, the Dragon Age team over to finish up this game. And we know Battlefront 2 has had a big impact on that, because to be honest, we all know that there was loot boxes implemented in Anthem. There's already been reports on it. And that's why it's being pushed back to 2019, is because there's a loot box system and they want to either rework it. And I'm going to let you weigh in on this, Jay. I don't think they're going to throw it out completely. Do you think they should throw it out completely? Or do you think it should be, they should really do cosmetic stuff? Or do you think EA is just going to be like, screw all the consumer? People are going to buy this game anyway. and we are going to sell this game, and you're gonna buy whatever loot box we throw in there.
I was really invested in what you were telling me, because I just like, this is all kind of, like I said, it's always new to me, you know, especially the Anthem game. But I'm gonna say, knowing just EA's track record, and what their track record tells me is that, for one, I'm pretty sure loot boxes are still in Battlefront. I haven't played the game forever, but I'm pretty sure they're still there. I'm pretty sure they're in there in some shape or form, still, you know, boosting the pay to win, if you will, factor of the game. I definitely know that they're not going to throw it out, because that's just not EA worthy. If anything, what they've shown us is that they're gonna go more and more towards that. That's just not EA like. I mean, you look at some of the games that EA has just thrown loot boxes in, or these virtual microtransaction currencies in the game. It doesn't even make sense at times that, like, they're in these games. Like, I'd imagine if Dead Space 4, you know, if EA decides, okay, we're going to go that route, Dead Space 4 would somehow, some way, shape, or form have these loot boxes or microtransactions, when this game was a fully or majorly just a story-driven game, you know, a story mode game. So I definitely believe that.
Let me cut you off for a second, real quick. Just to answer Charles's comment. Yeah, they did take loot boxes out of Shadow of War, but why in the world were they even in there?
Yeah.
Let's talk. Hold on. Let me talk about that for a second, because that's why we have live chat. Because when they say stuff like that, I gotta say something. You have. I can't remember the developer of Shadow of War, but I think I know it was on Warner Brothers that threw in those loot boxes to try to get extra money. Why would you have loot boxes in an isolated first-person experience? I do not understand.
That's what I was just saying.
That is, exactly. But there were probably, you know what? To be fair, Jay, they were probably gonna have like a whole bunch of multiplayer stuff in Dead Space. Yeah, and they were probably gonna throw them into loot boxes in there. So like, what they probably would have done was like the multiplayer stuff that me and you do. If you want to get more stuff for your guns or more ammo or stuff like that, they were gonna probably throw those behind loot boxes.
Wow.
They were probably gonna do that. You
know, supply drops.
Yeah, you were just basically saying that. Yeah, exactly, like something like that. But Shadow of War is a game that I feel like that should have never had it in there. And I was gonna play it because the first Shadow of Mordor, I was gonna play it, but Dragon Age kind of shadowed me away from that. That was EA's fault. Like, I really love Dragon Age, so I was like, I'm gonna play Dragon Age instead of Shadow or Shadow of Mordor. I was gonna get Shadow of War and kind of jump into the whole, you know, the Lord of the Rings thing, and I was like, okay, I'm down for it. But then I heard they got all this loot box problem, and I'm like, oh my god, why would they do that? Why would they do that? And then now it's like, oh my goodness, y'all being like EA, and well, the shark cards thing is, Jay, have you ever bought a shark card before?
GTA. I can't conclusively answer that question. I'm gonna say probably I have. I think I've bought like $5. I'm gonna say I have. If not, then I know I've constantly looked at the screen. But I'm gonna go ahead and say probably I have. Probably, I think back on a 360. I know for sure. I think I have.
I think the shark cards. Okay, the shark cards get you a lot of cosmetic stuff, I guess, right?
Yeah, for GTA. You buy the GTA, cars and whatnot.
Yeah, it's not like you get it and then your dude, you can boost up your dude or whatever. You just buy it and you can buy like cool cars and stuff like that. So I guess shark card ain't bad. As long as it's cosmetic stuff, I can't get too mad at it.
And it's GTA. It's like, at least for the GTA aspect of it, you know what I mean? Like, you're buying, at that time, I think if I bought the shark card, I'm pretty sure at that time they were doing like all those hacks and whatnot. So like, you would join a lobby and then like they would have the whole lobby hack going on. And they would had added like 1 million or 3 million or whatever crazy amount of number to your account. And I remember they actually took it off once they like went in and had all the patches and whatnot. Rockstar actually took it off, which kind of sucked.
Yeah. And yeah, Charles is right. Over $6.8 billion.
Yeah. In fact, we talked about that.
Why, yeah, we did, and that's why Rockstar is gonna implement it in every game. So we're gonna see how Red Dead Redemption 2 comes out. Because I'm really worried about online. Yeah, I'm really worried about online. Have you heard anything on Red Dead Redemption 2?
I have not. That's probably gonna be one of the sleeper games for me, because I know the last Red Redemption we played was it the first one?
It was fun.
Yeah,
it was it's considered the second one, but we played the zombie mode.
Yeah, I remember that. So
that was fun.
Yeah, it was. So I'm looking forward to the second one. Hopefully not. I mean, I think at least with Rockstar and their shark cards or whatnot, or the virtual currency, it's not as now. Like I said, moving into Red Dead Redemption, if they have that kind of multiplayer TDM type ordeal, then yeah, that may come into factor. But it's like the thing about Rockstar compared to EA is that you look at the games that they're putting these in, they don't really have too much of an effect. I mean, GTA, one gun wasn't, it wasn't like you were playing this TDM type. Now they had those kind of game modes, but I mean, nobody was really taking this game all that seriously. You know what I mean? Like you could go and rob a bunch of people, or you can play the survival mode like we did, freaking all day long until we got enough funds.
It's yeah, horde mode, like Charles was saying, it was super crazy.
Yeah,
it was fun coming out that church and you just pop. But we're getting a little off track, here. But do you think Anthem is in trouble though?
I believe I have reason to believe so. I mean, especially hearing about the writers and whatnot taking off. And I mean, this game already, and you've done a couple videos on it. You guys should go and check that out. But it's like they have no basis, no foundation. That's the biggest thing. We don't even know what foundation they're based upon. And I mean, if we're hearing now that, okay, well, all these writers are taking off, and anytime you can throw a loot box or EA and microtransactions or virtual currency in it, it doesn't seem like it's going to be a EA has not led me to believe otherwise. So I'm going to say, yeah, they're definitely in trouble.
Yeah, I think they're putting a lot of it's scary because what happened with Dead Space and Visceral Games and what happened to the Mass Effect series, that like they threw the Mass Effect series on ice, they threw Visceral Games away, and it would just be terrible if Anthem didn't do good and then they just did away with BioWare, just threw everybody around. And I think it's already going to be a game that's going to be divided in half because of what kind of game it is. If you look at Destiny, The Division, Ghost Recon Wildlands, people don't really like the whole grinding it out to get loot kind of thing, doing the repetitive gameplay stuff. And it's like, well, some people kind of do, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's going to be a game that's in controversy anyway?
Pretty much. I mean, that's kind of what we're looking at here. I mean, you looked at pretty much every game, especially being these kind of these looter, or I won't say looters, but these I can't think of the word, but these
looter shooter isn't a for sure genre yet, but I use that.
Yeah,
I do use that because it makes sense.
But you're looking at, like I said, you talk about the Destinies and the Divisions of the world, and it's like either it's going to be in controversy because you have that, and on top of with these loot boxes, or you're going to have that because guess what? It's too. In the case of Destiny 2, it's just too easy to get everything. So there's always going to be controversy. This game kind of just fell right into it. They were better off just kind of doing a battle royale game. And I mean, at this point, I mean, y'all don't have any writers or anything, so y'all really don't have much of a basis besides a couple of trailers. Yeah. So I think they're going to be in that controversy. Either way it goes at this point. I mean, unless they strictly get EA hands off of this project and allow these developers to truly craft out a game that's going to be consumer wanted and based off of people like us, or mostly you know a lot more about this game, and a lot of these people looking forward to this game, and what this game has to offer. That's the only way that it'll really escape major controversy. It's always going to be under controversy, though.
Charles says that if EA had it together, they would have released more info by now, and I think that's kind of true. I think they would have said exactly why they pushed it back, and maybe we're not too far away from E3. Maybe they might come out and say a little something, but odds are they're gonna have something super scripted up. And they're going to show more of the world probably and what you're going to be doing in Anthem. But it's going to be super scripted. It's going to look like the first trailer for The Division. If you guys don't remember that, that was weird. That was really weird. And EA is going to be a weird one at E3 because it's going to be a big old elephant in the room. Well, it's going to be in my room. I'm going to be like, say something. Say something about everything you've done. Atone for your sins, but they're not gonna do that. They are so far from doing that. I already know they're not, but I just don't want them to. I'm not even gonna get into that. I was gonna say something about FIFA, but we're gonna do on this channel on this stream we're gonna do a prediction video. We're gonna get into all that stuff because I have a lot to talk about on Kingdom Hearts and FIFA and the Division 2 and a lot of stuff. Where do we are? About 30, almost 30 minutes into the stream. Let's go ahead, Jay. When was the last time, and Charles, when was the last time you guys bought a game during the summer and was like, this game's gonna last me the whole summer? And it came out during the summer. It didn't come out in March and then you bought it. No, it came out during the summer.
I have to really think about that one. I probably. I want to say, let's see, what games did I buy that came out during the summer?
And not Madden.
Oh yeah, well Madden comes out in August.
Not Madden.
Well, Madden comes out in August, so I probably think none. I mean, did Halo count? I mean, it probably came out during some summer, and then I went and bought it.
It came out. If you're one of those people like me that count summer in September, also. And given the climate we're in, I do.
Yeah.
I think I remember Halo Reach coming out September 14th.
Okay, I think probably I bought Halo. I've never been a person to buy really games brand new, besides a couple sports games. But I probably think Halo or well, I mean, I'm gonna consider October into summer too because in San Antonio it didn't turn till winter until like mid December. Like it was 100 degrees until like mid November out here in San Antonio. So I'm gonna consider I think Destiny was one that I bought. But I can't really think of too many.
September, right? That was like September 9th.
Yeah, that was pretty early on. Yeah. I think. And did Red Dead Redemption?
Charles said Halo 3. Did Halo 3 come out during the summer?
I want to say that if it was that, then definitely Halo 3. In fact, I bought Halo 3 a couple times during the summer.
Did San Andreas come out during the summer?
Yeah, I think if it's that, then yeah, he knows a lot better than me. I think it's probably a couple.
It did. I think it came out in October. Charles, you got some work. Find me some release dates for Halo 3 in San Andreas, because I thought I could have sworn San Andreas came out during October. I could have sworn it. I think Halo came out September. It's Halo 3, maybe.
GTA 5 came out during the summer, or not the summer, but September 2013, which is still kind of summer. And I know I picked up that one. I'm actually just going to look at, San Andreas came out during October of 2004.
Right? That's what I thought.
You know, I have to see, because I know there's got to be some games that. Okay, Red Dead Redemption came out in the summer of 2010, and we played. Did we play that one? Yeah, I think we. Was it?
I was a late person to the Red Dead Redemption party.
Okay, then we probably were. Halo 3 came out in September of 2007. Halo Reach came out in September 14th. So you were right about Halo Reach. Halo Reach came out at September 14th.
Nice.
ODST was one that came out in September, so they're pretty much around September. I don't really think there was a lot of summer games that, at least a lot of the games that I bought anyway were multiplayer. So usually multiplayer games are coming out around that September,
November and October, November window. A lot of great games do, but the reason why I always say, because summer always leaves me super dry with games, right? It always does, especially if you look at May, June, and July. So we're gonna go into a lot of games that come out between May, June, July, August, and September. We'll throw in September in there. And Charles, if you have any games that you were hyped for on the PC side, just throw them in the comments. I'm reading out the comments right now. And yeah, San Andreas, yeah, October 26th. That's what's up. So we have Divinity Original Sin 2. Charles, did you ever play Divinity Original Sin 2 on September 14th, 2017 on PC? Because I know that is a good game. I've seen a couple YouTubers actually talk about that game, and it looks so awesome. It's like you can have like 2 players or whatever. Like it looks like Diablo.
Yeah.
And I love Diablo. Did Diablo come out during the summer? I was like 12 when I got Diablo 2, and I begged my grandmother to get it for me. And like it came in this big old box set.
Yeah.
And it was like, it just had, Diablo, the devil. It just had the devil on front of it.
Yeah.
It was so awesome. My grandma was like, "You want this?" I'm like, "Grandma, this game is awesome. I need it." So like, it was my first PC experience too. That summer was Diablo 2. So I have to give thanks to Blizzard for that. I forgot what I was talking about. Divinity to the Original Sin 2 for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, coming out August 2018. Have you heard anything on Divinity 2 Original Sin?
I have not, probably because I stepped away from the PC or the gaming scene, but the PC gaming scene a while, but I haven't not. So exactly what is it about?
I'm gonna tell you right now. I know a lot about games, Jay. I don't know too much about this game. I know, like Charles just said, he said it's not. It looks a little bit like Wasteland 2, but there is a lot of dialogue because I know this game is pretty well story driven. In Diablo 3, there wasn't too much dialogue, just a lot of fighting and a lot on one screen.
Yeah.
And I should have put Diablo 3 coming to Switch, but I don't think they have a release date for that yet. But hey, if the Switch can handle Diablo 3, the Switch is a powerful console, okay? Because that's a lot of computer players, not like computer, but like a lot of CPU on the screen at once. And if the Switch can handle that from a handheld standpoint, that's a pretty strong system.
Yeah. So
we have you probably seen this one, Jay. You probably seen Spyro the Dragon, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, September 21st. So they're bringing back the original Spyro the Dragon, Spyro 2, Ripto's Rage, and Spyro the Year of the Dragon. It's going to be made by Vicarious Visions and published by Activision, the people who basically made the Crash remake. How vital is this to get our purple friend back on board?
I think it'd be pretty, if I remember Spyro Dragon. I think I played, let me see, because wait a minute. Spyro Dragon is the one I'm trying to see, because it's who I think it is.
Spyro.
Okay, so I think I played the Spyro. I wish I knew the game, but I think if I'm not mistaken, what was the last Spyro Dragon game? Was that like?
It was on PlayStation 2. I think it was called not the Year of the Dragon. It's called Internal Fire Enter the Dragonfly.
Yeah,
maybe?
I think it'd be pretty cool. It'd probably be one of the ones that surprisingly weird enough I'd probably get, because I definitely remembered from my uncle used to play it a lot. He played, well, when he was playing, what was it? I think is it Ratchet and Clank? No, not him. Who is it? Is it Jack and Dexter? I think it's the ones where they kind of got like the floating vehicles.
Jack 2?
Is it Jack 2? I think it's Jack 2.
Yeah.
He used to play the Jack games, and like, for one, I never played those games or knew how to really play them all that well, but it was amazing. Yeah. But pretty much that was around the same time that you had the Spyro Dragon and whatnot. And so I think it'd be pretty nice. It'd be pretty cool, kind of a little nostalgic feel, if you will, at least for me.
Yeah, a lot of people are definitely getting that. I think Spyro is a great one. And then Charles said Gex is next. I don't know. Jay, you might be 2 years late on Gex. I don't know if you ever even heard of Gex. You were born in 95, right?
How to spell that?
Gex.
Gex.
Gex. He's a gecko.
No,
I barely remember this game. I mean, barely. Like I remember.
Yeah.
I remember Croc better. They need to do Croc. Okay.
Just waiting for my time.
He's a little crocodile with like one tooth. They need to do that, dude. Like Croc is an awesome game, and he's like brought in by these little furry animals or whatever. And they need to do Croc. Croc needs to be next. Gex also. Gex needs to be. They need to do them all.
Yeah, these are way before my time of really actually video gaming. I'm looking at this here, 1995, 1999. I think probably I started gaming on the, I think it was 64, Nintendo 64. I think it was that.
64. Spyro was on PlayStation, so was Croc also.
Yeah, no, I'm seeing it was on PlayStation 1 also, but I think my just full gaming experience, I think I started at like 4 or 5, which it was a couple of years removed from those.
Yeah. Those are some old games, man. For what time it is now.
Yeah, they're really old. 20 plus years.
Charles like, y'all some young heads. I'm like, hey, my first, the first game I got so into and I could not put it down was Crash Team Racing. And yeah, I'm not saying I didn't play any other Crash games. I'm just saying I had Crash Bandicoot 2. And I had Crash Bandicoot 2. And then I played Crash Team Racing, and I'm like, this is the greatest game I've ever played. This is amazing. And if they do a remake of that, I mean, it is on and popping. Like it can rival against Mario Kart. I don't care what anybody says. You can come for me in the comments. I don't care. You can dislike this video, but I said it. You go ahead and download this video on your illegal YouTube, whatever website, and document it. I said it right here on the Seoul Dojo Live. Yeah, Charles. The next Metro game, I played Metro, the second one, and it was like you were in like Soviet Russia, and I don't know, it was scary, and like I remember the backstabbing that you got in that game when the dude like went against you, like that was like the craziest like moment to me in gaming history. I was like, this dude really just backstabbed me like that? But once again, we're getting off traffic. We're getting off topic like we do on the Seoul Dojo Live, of course. So next, so Spyro the Dragon is coming September 21st for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Why not for Switch though?
You know what? They're just, for one, Nintendo's just smart. So if anything that we've noticed with them is that they're going to, if they probably will, they just pick their timing when they're going to do it. Like I said, they want to make sure that when it does happen, they're getting the most exposure to their console in this game. And like I said, they need to see what these other console developers are going to do wrong. Or
I think it's gonna definitely come. I think when it went under development, they didn't think that the Switch was gonna be as good as it was gonna be, or something. I think there's a few developers that were like, we're on board with the Switch, and then some were like, and some publishers maybe like Activision was like, we'll wait. So I think it's definitely gonna come, and Nintendo's gonna wait and wait.
Nintendo's just smart with that. I mean, you look at a lot of these games that you wouldn't have imagined, but like I said, when they made it to Switch, they were just so much more different, so much more. And to say that, like I said, that we know that the Switch is the weaker of all these consoles in terms of power, but they make up for it in so many other different areas. So like a lot of these games that I told you this, like literally people would give games that were the most terrible games ever a 5-star rating or a 4-star rating simply because it was on a Nintendo Switch. So and they capitalize off of that. I mean, FIFA, I don't think I've seen a FIFA game with like a 4-star, 5-star rating in the longest time, but yet
not since like 2010.
Yeah, probably. And like literally it got one on Nintendo Switch just because it was on Nintendo Switch. So they're just waiting to see, and then they'll add it on the Switch, and people will love it, even though it's the same.
We'll of course love it.
Yeah.
So next I have this game called Vampire with a Y. It doesn't have like an E or whatever. However you spell vampire. It's coming for PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, June 5th, 2018. Have you heard about this game, Jay?
I have not. I'm actually looking it up because I mean any game called Vampire with a Y.
With a Y. Okay, so this game is a post-Victorian. It's in a post-Victorian London, which I love. I absolutely love
Victorian
games that are kind of set in that time.
Yeah.
We've had a few games that are kind of set around there. You have the Order 1886, which wasn't that good. And then you have Bloodborne, which was kind of in that Victorian age Europe, in its own land called Yarnum. And you play as Dr. Jonathan Reed, and this Spanish flu epidemic is going around, and you also get bitten by a vampire guy. So it's these dark cobble streets in London, Jack the Ripper kind of storylines type stuff. Yeah, stuff like that, which is really, really cool to get into. So this game, when I looked it up, I got really excited because of how the game's gonna play out. It's not open world. It's kind of set in these districts, and you can all these districts, and London is kind of set up in districts like that. You're gonna the districts are gonna have like health bars or whatever to show like how healthy the district is.
Yeah,
and you have to weed out who you're gonna bite and like who you're gonna save, because you're a doctor and a vampire, and you have to kind of like quench your thirst for blood and stuff like that, all that other stuff. So you have to talk to these people, you have to get to know the story and get to know these people and figure out, okay, I'm gonna kill this dude just to help out everybody else here, so I can make sure that the epidemic that's going on can stay at bay. So it's gonna have a lot of like hard choices to make for the player, and I think it's gonna be a really cool game. I'm actually really excited for it. I don't know what you just looked up.
Well, what I looked at, I'm just kind of listening to what you're saying. Yeah, pretty much
6'5" comedy. What's up?
Yeah,
you just say yo, so I was like, what's up?
Yeah. Pretty much it kind of encompasses everything you're saying. I'm trying to see whether or not which I would imagine it probably is. If it's like one of those games where because it's saying that the player is under no obligation to kill to finish the game. So I'm assuming that it's one of those games where kind of your decisions dictates the end of the game, or the game can change based on your decision, which is always really cool when they implement that into a game versus it being the same ending no matter what. So if it does have that, I think that'd be pretty cool. From what I'm seeing, it's got a lot of different ways that you can go about playing this game with its own pros and cons to it, you know. So whether or not you decide, well, I'm not going to kill anybody, you know what I mean? And, you know, you suffering the consequences for that. So I think it'd be really, really cool. I'm looking forward to seeing what it has to offer.
How it plays out. Yeah, it looks like a really, really nice game, really cool game. I've seen a couple of trailers on it. They've been having like a couple of trailers recently on it because it is coming out in June 5th. I think it's a good game to come out during the summer. And so let's move on to Jurassic World Evolution. Digitally, it's coming out for PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, June 12th. Physically, July 3rd. So it's funny how it's just coming out digitally, and then later it'll come out physically. But I don't know if you ever played or if you ever seen anybody play on PC or PlayStation on Jurassic Park Operation Genesis.
Have you
ever seen that before?
I've never seen any Jurassic Park games.
What about a zoo tycoon kind of game?
Probably.
Where you build your own zoo, you put the animals in there, and you create your own park.
No, I've never seen any of those either. I've actually not. I didn't know there was a Jurassic Park game until you made the video.
Right. Well, this game it's on its way, and I love Jurassic Park Operation Genesis. I played that a lot on PlayStation 2. It was just fun, like building up, you know, the park, and then like literally just having, you know, your dinosaur come through and just tear up everybody when you build it up. Like you got all these people in there, and you're just like, oops, accidentally deleted again. Here comes the Tyrannosaurus Rex.
GTA mixed with Sims.
Yeah,
Chaos.
it's crazy. It is so funny. And we seen they just recently had it is kind of like a Zoo Tycoon game, Charles. It's actually the exact formula is actually just like it. But it's like what's cool about Jurassic Park is like, you know, if you remember the movies, they were like mixing DNA. So you can kind of make your own dinosaur. So like if you want like a velociraptor to swim really well, you would like mix it with like a fish's DNA or something like that. So you're able to do that on this kind of game. So you can make literally your own dinosaur.
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty crazy. And you know, you make your own park or world, they call it. I can't wait to get people, if you guys seen the movie, get people in those bubbles and then put them out into like your wild. It's gonna be hilarious, because if you got a pissed off T-Rex and he comes just whacking his head at a ball, that's gonna be freaking fun.
I'm actually looking at a picture right now of the guy in like the ball. I don't know what, I can't remember the name of this thing, dinosaur, but it's like the one with the really long neck.
Long neck.
Yeah. He's chasing after him. So yeah, that'd be pretty awesome. Honestly, I'm looking forward to seeing what people would be able to kind of what series people would do over this game, because obviously, you know, you got this basically you're creating your own world. So it'd be pretty cool to see what kind of storylines or series people come up with for this game.
It's gonna be I think it's gonna be super awesome. I can't wait to grab that. So Jay, we talked about the impact Mario has always had on Nintendo Switch, and how every time there's a Mario game, everybody kind of stops and go and get it. June 22nd, we have Mario Tennis Aces.
Mario Tennis Aces.
Yep.
So it's a tennis game.
Yep, it's a tennis game. It looks super awesome, super fun. What kind of how vital is it for Switch going into its second year to have a Mario game on its books during the summer?
That's a tough question. I'm gonna say probably we'll go moderately. I think it's not as needed just because the Switch in itself or Nintendo offers so many different games. You know, like I said, you had The Legend of Zelda and a lot of other these different games produced by Nintendo. So it's not as needed, especially considering that Nintendo builds games that are made to last years. You know what I mean? Like, we're not talking about a Call of Duty type game where they have to have it every year, you know, because they're failing. No, they could build a game and it lasts forever. I'm pretty sure I just watched a video the other day when they were showing the reaction when they talked about Super Smash Brothers coming to the Switch, and literally everybody like lost their minds. I don't think it's that crazy important for them to kind of have it on their books, but I think this one, just looking at it, it'd be pretty nice, especially whenever Nintendo does these sports games. I wish, honestly, I'd probably like it a lot better on like the Wii or whatnot, but I mean, I think it'd still be pretty awesome for the Switch.
And the funny thing about, we all know like Super Smash Brothers is going to come out for the Switch. I mean, I was like, oh, it's coming now. Yeah. Okay, sweet. Like, I knew when it was coming. Of course they're going to do it. Also, new State of Decay 2. I think Charles is meaning I know State of Decay came out, I think June 5th, 2013 for PC, but I don't know, Xbox One, I don't know exactly necessarily when it's coming out. State of Decay is kind of like it's another zombie apocalypse game. I guess what's cool about it, I think you can build a base, and I think you can like team up with friends and stuff like that. I don't know how big of an impact it's gonna have on the Xbox community, because you do have what's it called? What's that battle royale game? PUBG. You do have PUBG on there, so we'll see. Back to Mario Tennis Aces. I'm super excited to play that. I think it's just gonna be an awesome game on Switch. So a couple of announcements we did have. Well, you know what? No. We're not even gonna get into that yet, because we just talked about Super Smash Brothers on Switch, right?
Yeah,
we did just talk about that. Yeah. Okay. So Shadow of the Tomb Raider, September 14th, 2018. I think it's time for me to definitely jump back into the Tomb Raider thing because I played the very first Tomb Raider, not the one that came out for PlayStation, but the Tomb Raider that came out, and it came out for PlayStation 4. I think it was PlayStation 4. Or was that Xbox? The new rebooted Tomb Raider, I played it, loved it. It was like rebooting Lara Croft altogether because she didn't know what she was doing. She didn't know necessarily what to do or how to survive. So I think it's just, I love the, character progression of the new Tomb Raider. I love it. And I wasn't able to play the second one because it was an Xbox One exclusive. And I was going to get it when it came to PlayStation 4. But I think I'm gonna jump into Shadow of Tomb Raider, and I think I'm gonna love it. I think I'm gonna love it. But it comes out September 14th, and I think the movie didn't do so well because me and you were talking about the movie that came out.
Did the movie come out already? I know that we were talking about, but I didn't know that it. I didn't know
the movie came out in the midst of the Black Panther stuff.
Oh yeah, see that's why I didn't watch that either. But
in the midst of the Black Panther stuff,
it's got a 49% for Rotten Tomatoes, 6.8 out of 10. So it sucks. I mean, we thought it was going to be really nice. Then again, I mean, we could probably have to actually watch it ourselves to really know. Because
that is true.
It's 88% people liked it on Google, 4.5 out of 5 on Facebook. So it's just like we don't really know. It's probably to each his own.
Yeah, it's all over the place. So we have The Division 2. Possibly we're going to see it at E3. It was announced. The Division 2, out of all the looter shooter games, I do like this game a lot. I do like the environment. I like the idea of the game. Now that I know exactly what the game is about, Ubisoft made some good like updates to it in recent in the last 2 years that it's been out, and I really mess with it, dude. I really like it, and I think I'm gonna definitely dive into the Division 2. Any excitement for you for the Division 2?
It all depends. I mean, if it's like the first one, then probably not. I'd like to see a little bit more, not GTA-esque type, in terms of just flat out being rolled all the time. But I think they should add a little bit more of the multiplayer and truly make it worthwhile to go into these dark zones and whatnot versus being constantly repeating the same thing over and over, and just grinding. And really, I mean, once you've grinded and you've gotten these weapons, it's really no use in using them over.
The dark zone is one of those game mechanics that I think it could be so great if it's done right.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You know what? I want to touch on something real quick, and I know we're running out of time here, but I was looking at Rampage.
The movie or the game?
Well, it says that it was a movie based off the game. When I was looking up the Tomb Raider, I don't know if you've heard of the game.
Rampage?
Yeah, I don't know if.
Oh yeah, I've played a good bit of Rampage.
When did this game? Oh, see, funniest thing is that like this game came out in 1986, and like it's an arcade-ish type game.
I was just about to say it was on arcade. It came to PlayStation, like PlayStation 1 maybe. I think I forgot when it came out for PlayStation 1. I was still very young. But yeah, it came out in the 80s. It was a arcade game. You get to play with an alligator looking cat. Not an alligator looking cat.
Yeah.
You play with excuse me, you play with a like I guess a King Kong kind of guy.
Yeah.
You can play with the gorilla, and then you got the the lizard, the crocodile,
and then there's like a wolf.
And the wolf
is
a wolf. Yeah. There's a wolf, and your experiments and stuff, and you're like a human, then you turn into those, and then you just tear up the city. Whoever tears it up the most gets the most points, and you get to eat people out of windows, like literally, like you would climb up a window and then, bloop, eat them. You'd be good, more points. So it's the formula is very arcade-ish, and I was like, they're making a movie?
It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it doesn't really make sense because I'm looking at it, and I'm gonna let you say it. But I'm looking at it because I'm like, as I looked up the game, I'm like, oh man, this is a modern game, kind of like what's that one game, the Monster World Hunter or something of that nature. And then like I look up the game, and it's like this arcade-ish game. And then when you look at like the promotional picture for the movie, it's literally like King Kong, you know, the monster that he fought, and this wolf, and like they look like it looks like it could be a horror movie. Yeah. So I don't know, that's pretty weird.
And The Rock, he's gonna act in anything at this point. We can make a movie about the Seoul Dojo live. He's gonna be right next to me.
Yeah.
He's gonna be in anything at this moment. And Charles says he had the original game. You talking about like on you had an arcade machine? Yeah, in your house or something?
Yeah.
He's talking about for the NES, then 64. That makes sense. It probably was on every console. It probably was literally on every console. Yeah. But moving on real quick, because like the movie and the game, it just doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
The next one, it's being shown on the recent video on this side. The recent video, it is Spider-Man for September 7th, 2018.
Awesome.
Man, super excited for this one. Super excited because I played some good Spider-Man games and I played some crap ones. I played some really bad one actually. Spider-Man 2, I want it to be a lot like Spider-Man 2, because the mobility in all the moves you can do while web slinging, I think that's the basis of every Spider-Man game. How good is that web slinging, and how good is the exploration and the feel you get when you're in this Spider-Man's worlds of New York City? I think as long as it isn't too cinematic, I don't think that's a word, but I want to say that because I don't want it to be you just press buttons and Spider-Man does all the flips and stuff. No, I kind of want you to do it also.
Yeah.
And I laughed at the trailer because it's like every typical Spider-Man trailer or every typical Spider-Man game, movie, whatever has a falling crane. Like it's like you have all these villains, Venom, Carnage, all these villains, and it's like the crane is one of the villains because there's always a falling crane in a Spider-Man game or movie. Like, and that's what's going on in Spider-Man's new trailer. It's like it's just a crane falling, and I was like, oh, look, the crane makes another appearance. Hollywood's been great to him. It's like, oh my god. So any excitement for Spider-Man 2?
Definitely. I think I've played Spider-Man 1 and 2. I'm excited from the little I remember. It should be pretty amazing. And it'd be just great. I mean, playing as Spider-Man out of
no pun intended. It should be pretty amazing.
But I'm definitely looking forward to, like you said, I would definitely like to kind of pretty much, everything that Spider-Man has to offer, his whole move set, if you will, kind of being able to do that manually versus it being, this one flow, one button motion kind of ordeal. So I'm looking forward to it. Honestly, I mean, I think Spider-Man probably out of every superhero game you could really play, it's probably the most fun. I mean, we're talking about, there's Batman, Arkham Knight, and that game is amazing and whatnot. But I think this one probably is hands down going to be, at least for me, playing as Spider-Man is going to be the best. So I probably won't play it, but I'll probably have to like take a trip to your house and then watch you play it or something.
I think it's going to be awesome. And also it's a PlayStation exclusive. PlayStation's winning again. I think it's great. I hope they don't. Insomniac Games is making it, and we did talk about a game also earlier that has been made by Insomniac Games, which is Spyro. So we have a good development team that is working on that game. We're looking forward to looking at it.
All the classics
at E3, and you know what, Jay? That's coming to the hour mark. We did keep you a little bit longer than I thought. It's been a great podcast, Charles. Really appreciate you being in the live comments. Comedy, you did say yo for a second. I don't know if you're still listening, but appreciate you coming by. Make sure you guys subscribe to the Seoul Dojo Gaming channel. It keeps us making awesome content like this. Keeps us always coming back, just doing our thing. Jay, anything before you sign off?
No, man. We got a pretty fun summer, so I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Pretty awesome summer. A lot of E3 stuff. We're going to start doing the schedule for E3 and all the content me and Jay are going to have for you guys. So thank you for watching. Like the video and subscribe to the Seoul Dojo. I've been Curtis Russell. He's been Jamal Johnson. All right. Peace, y'all.